Here are the answers from Thursday's, I know it seems like forever ago, Thursday's assignment, and you had to do pages in your math journal 281, 284, and 285. So here's page 281. That was too hard for me to do on a computer. So the first one was a reflection or a flip. So basically here's the line of reflection, and this baby basically flipped right over the next one. So in this one, if this shape flipped over this, basically it would look just like that, but right here. So these little ears here would be here. Okay, this line would be right down the middle, and so on. So if you kept just flipping, 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 that would be the pattern. Here, this was a translation or a slide. Basically, this pattern slid over here. So if this kept sliding, 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 that's what a translation is. And then the last one was a rotation or a turn. So basically this one just turned counterclockwise 90 degrees. So these little ears, Batman ears, it turned, so now they're facing that direction. Here, these ears would be over facing this direction. And then here, those ears would face up in here. And then this would be started all over again. So basically it's a 90-degree rotation counterclockwise. And then this shape would end up here and starting all over. Now this one you could have made your own. I'm not going to be, if you wanted to have fun with that, you could. All right, so page 284. I've already done it all, just so I saved time. So this is page 284. So your spinner should look something like this. You had to color it so that if you spun it 36 times, you would expect to land on blue 27 times and red 9 times. Well, 27 out of 36 spins, if you used a calculator, you would get this decimal. Well, we know that that's 75 hundredths, which is the same as 75%, which is the same as 3/4. If you reduce this fraction to lowest terms, you'd get 3/4. So 3/4 of this pie or spinner would be blue. Now, it doesn't have to be exactly here. If it rotated a little bit, you put this line here and it went all the way up here, that'd be fine too. Okay, red, if you spun it 9 times out of 36, that would reduce to 1/4. 1/4 of a dollar is 25 hundredths or 25 cents, 25%. If you divided this, 9 divided by 36, you'd get this as a decimal. So this is how all of our fractions, decimals, or percents relate. So 1/4 of that spinner or the pie should be red. So obviously you have a much better chance of spinning that's right, blue. Now this was tough, I'm gonna tell you. If you struggled with it, that is fine. Okay, so the rule was you're gonna subtract 4/16. And I used this one here, 8/16 minus what equals 4/16? Well, 4/16. You could have also used this one. 3/4 minus 2/4 is the same as 1/4. And 4/16 and 1/4 are equivalent fractions. So this one here, I changed this fraction into 16/16, which is the same as 1 whole. And then I subtracted 16/16 minus 4/16, which gives you 12/16. Okay, this one, if we are going to find the in number, you are going to turn it around. Our out number is 7/12, and we're going to add 4/16, the backward strategy. So over here, if I'm going to add 4/16 to 7/12, okay, I can't do that right now because I don't have a common denominator. So there's a couple different ways to do this. But what I would do here is think, okay, 12, if I counted by 12, I'd have 12, 24, 36, 48, Now I'm going to stop there because I already know if I count by 16ths, I'd go 16, 32, 48. So 48 would give me a common denominator. Now we have not done this where we've had to change both of our denominators to get a common denominator, but that's how you do it. You count by each, you're finding the multiples. So now I'm going to multiply 7/12 times 4 because I had to count 4 times to get 48. So 7 times 4 is 28. And 12 times 4 is 48. Now I had to take 16 times 3 to get 48. So I'm going to take 4 times 3, which is 12. Now I can add them because I have a common denominator. So 28 plus, or minus 12 48ths would give me 16 48ths. And I always ask, wonder if I can reduce that fraction. I sure can. I know I can divide both of these by, actually, 16. So I'm going to divide both of these by 16. And I'm going to get 1/3. So either one of these answers would have been just fine. Now, if you did not get this one, that's fine. It's tough. I get it. If that makes sense to you, that's awesome. Okay, this was very similar, not quite as difficult, I didn't think, as this one. So 15/20ths, well, I can see right away, I can divide both of those by 5. So if I divide both of these by 5, I'm going to get 3/4. So 3/4 minus 4/16, I did it right here. Okay, 3/4 is right here, minus my rule, 4/16. Well, I don't have a common denominator again. So I'm going to leave 4/16 here because I can change fourths into 16ths by multiplying both of these times 4. 3 times 4 is 12. 4 times 4 is 16. Now I can subtract. 12/16 minus 4/16 equals 8/16. Put it here. Or, oops, not 6, half, 1/2. 8/16 is the same as 1/2. So either one of those answers would have been fine. Now these right in here, those were tougher. So do not worry if you're not at that point. I get it. It's difficult. We really haven't done a lot of where you have to change, especially both denominators. Okay, number 3 is where it's just getting you, basically you are solving equations and by adding or subtracting in these. So here are your answers, so you can check yours. And basically what I did is I took 67.3 plus P. Let's say plus how many pickles? Well, I'm going to use the backward strategy. I know my answer is 75.22 pickles. So I'm going to subtract this, and that would give me 7.92. Okay, I'm starting with 6.86 apples, and I'm going to subtract a number of apples. So I'm going to have 2.94 apples left. Well, I'm going to use my fact families. I know if I subtract A, I'm going to get this. So if I take 6.86 and subtract this, I'm going to get A, which is 3.92. Okay, I have a number of X's, and I'm going to add 5.69 to get 7.91. Well, I'm going to use the backward strategy. 7.91 minus 5.69. That's going to get me 2.22. Okay, again, this is like B. I know I'm going to start with 4.6. I don't know. End. So 4.6 minus N would give me this. If I did the fact family, 4.6 minus 0.32, that would give me N, which is 4.28. Now, when you add and subtract decimals, you line up the decimals. Never forget to do that. Okay, this, I would guess, I did not have a template, but this is how I kind of estimate it. We have an acute angle. It's less than 90 degrees. It's cute. So you can kind of see here's RUG. Well, I'm going to estimate. So I made a 90-degree angle here. And if I cut that in half exactly, I'd have two 45-degree angles. So that's kind of what I drew. Well, I know that my angle right here is less than 45 degrees. And so I guesstimated it to be about 30. So I may be off, but if you had a template, then you probably got the exact answer. Okay, number 5. This was a funny one. Sebastian and Joshua estimated the weight of their mother. Now, boys, be nice to your mothers. What's the most reasonable estimate for mother's weight? Well, 50 pounds. That's not even the size of my granddaughter. Some of you might weigh 50 pounds. 150 pounds, possibly. 500 pounds? If you told your mother that she weighed 500 pounds, she might pop you in the face. So that takes 1,000 pounds out too. So 150 would your best estimate. Be nice to your mothers. Okay, last page. Finding the area. 4.8 times 9. Length times width, 43.2. 9 times 8 is 72. Carry the 7. 9 times 4 is 36, plus 7 is 42. Otherwise, some of you like to do this. I just took 4 times 9 here, which is 36. And then I took 0.8 times 9, which is 7.2. And then I just added them together. So 2 different ways to solve the area. All right, this one, there's lots and lots and lots you could have done. I just started with 0, and I added 214 bad guys. Well, bad guys are going to win by 214. I don't have any good guys. Here, I have all bad guys. 100 bad guys plus 114 more bad guys gives me 214 bad guys. 200 plus a negative 414. Well, the 414 are going to win. The bad guys are going to win by 214. Okay, I started with 1,000. I just picked 1,000. Bad guys. Well, I know I'm going to need a lot of good guys. Well, the bad guys are still going to win by 214. 200 bad guys plus 14 more bad guys gives me 214 bad guys. Okay, lots and lots of choices. So basically, you either put them together, like here, you add them all together to get the bad guys, or you find here we added them all together. Here, if you have good guys and bad guys, like this one too, this one too, you find the difference of the two. So you subtract the good guys and the bad guys. Okay, here's we just estimated. Now, the only one I'm not sure about would be this, the tiger. Not sure. Tiger about 500 pounds. I'm not sure. Could be more, could be less. Probably more. So this one, you could probably look up. But if you put this one, that's fine. So this is greater than 500, less than 500, about 500. So those are your estimates. Now, draw 3 different rectangles. Okay, here are the basic ones. To equal 12 centimeters, square centimeters. A 12 by 1 or a 1 by 12. A 2 by 6 or a 6 by 2. A 4 by 3 or a 3 by 4. Okay, those are the basic ones. You could have, some of you might have gotten kind of tricky and done like decimal, 2.5 by something. That would be acceptable too, as long as when you multiply it equals 12. Okay, those are the answers for today's assignment, or from Thursday's assignment. Do not fret or get too upset about, this one, tricky. I know this one, you should be able to get those because we've been adding and subtracting decimals. If you have questions, I have the Zoom open all day today. So please let me know. I would be happy to help you. Okay, so we are going to probably review the rest today. Tomorrow is a chapter 10 test already. So go over everything in this chapter. If you have any questions on any of it, big one is sorry if I'm making you dizzy on this, is this, knowing the difference between a reflection, a translation, rotation, comparing decimals, percents, fractions, putting in decimals,